So this is a video where this guy tries to justify his attraction to transsexuals by saying that the femininity is what makes him attracted to them, therefore he's not gay. He's attracted to femininity, not the person, which doesn't really make sense because if you act on it, then that makes you gay. And even if you're attracted to it, you're still gay because at the end of the day, femininity is associated with females. If you're attracted to a man that's displaying feminine traits, then that means you're gay. That's just what that means. And not even gay. Like, I don't even like to say that. That just means that you're weird, something wrong with you. You have demons on you. You're a homosexual. You're more than that because you bugged out. You're sexually depraved. But this brother right here, Outlaw. Shout out to my brother Outlaw, always sending me good fodder and good topics. Shout out to Outlaw. You know, interesting comment and something I wanted to get into. And this is just a piggyback off the video, the insanity and the obscenity of the video. It's insane and obscene. It's just crazy. The obscenity, if you will. So he says, I'm not gay at all, just mocking the video. You sure? This is the fruit of us being our own God. That's what it is. It's the fruit of us having a right to decide what's right and what's wrong. Just like Adam and Eve. We make up rules. We make up rules. Truth is based on feelings. They are destroying both men and women at the same time. It's really about getting enough men to accept this evil. Yes, it is. And they target the children, really, the young boys, you know, because they figure the people that's older, they're going to die out anyway. They really want to target the young boys. But I wanted to go into his comment here because it really took me back to the garden. That's why I responded with facts, bro, going back to the garden, because that's what this reminds me of. These people, as far as like, you know, these progressive people, these people that adhere to these different type of ideologies that's based in Luciferianism, they don't understand that they fattening up for the demise. They getting fatted up for their own destruction and demise. You know, it's just adding on to what the Most High is taking notes off at the commissary of the angels, or the commissary of the Most High utilizing his angels to take those notes. Excuse me. But it's very important for us to understand how these things correlate with the scriptures because, you know, what they allow, what they pass when it comes to these laws, like gay marriage, all this, it's based in eating the fruit, consuming the left hand knowledge, and positioning yourself to be a quote unquote God. That's why you have masonry. That's why you have these people who go through the paces. They reach that 33rd degree. They become their own God. Because it's all based in establishing what's right and what's wrong as opposed to adhering to the Most High and the standard that comes with what's right and wrong. Now you set your own laws. Do what thou wilt. It's just reinvigorated all over again. Like Aleister Crowley doctrine just goes back to ancient Kemet. That's all it is. And it's the same thing in these modern times where they tell these people that it's okay for them to be whatever gender they want. Do whatever you want. You can be what you want. That's confusion. And it's sinful. And it just speaks to Genesis chapter 3 where Satan told Adam and Eve that you shall be as gods. Meaning you have the understanding of right and wrong as opposed to the creator who told you the understanding of right and wrong. You can make up your own understanding of right and wrong. That's why in this society, everything is flipped upside down. What's right is what's wrong, and what's wrong is what's right. Righteousness is wrong, and wickedness is right, pursuant to Isaiah 5 and 20. But I wanted to go into Genesis chapter 3, very popular scripture or chapter. Yeah, let's get it. Genesis chapter 3, starting at verse 1, where it says, Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord power had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath the Most High said, Ye should not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High said, Ye should not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. So Eve, being that woman who is of the spirit of beguilement, she got beguiled by the serpent, just like what you see in today's times where these women, it's easy for them to capitulate to the power structure. You got to think about it like this. The power structure is the serpent, And these women, they're proverbial Eve, and not just the woman. Everybody is proverbial Eve in this society, other than the hopeful elect. Everybody else is proverbial Eve. They drinking of the proverbial Kool-Aid or the cup of sin. Everybody, other than the hopeful elect, right? So when it comes to the understanding, going all the way back to the beginning, is something that we see today. Naturally, we see this in women where they easily beguile. Everything about them is lust of the eyes. That's why the serpent came to the woman first, not to the man. He came to the woman first because he understands what the woman is about in terms of just the natural makeup and how the Most High created them. They're easily prone to beguilement and deception and trickery. That's just what it is. Subterfuge, so on and so forth. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. So that's one of those, aspects of trickery coming from the serpent. For the Most High doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open and ye shall be as gods. And notice that God there is lowercase, because you are not the Most High God. It's a delineation. And at the end of the day, this God is not even talking about anything righteous. This is talking about, the left hand pagan gods. This is why, over the course of time, these people were worshipped in different regions as different gods, paganized when it comes to the Greek pantheon or the Roman pantheon or ancient Kemet. Adam, Eve, and most of the people, from before the flood, they were worshipped in different regions as pagan gods. They were. Like Adam worshipped as Saturn in Rome, Eve worshipped as Astarte, so on and so forth. So not only is this God term here going into that aspect, but it's also going into, you pretty much being the antithesis of the Most High. But you know right and wrong. You set your own laws, and you understand that based off of you being elucidated by this tree or by the fruit that came from this tree, these people in the garden, because that's what the tree is parabolic for. It's parabolic with people teaching. The fruit is parabolic for, teachings, like food for thought. You consume knowledge. So the fruit is talking about the teachings. It's not talking about an actual fruit. That's why you only have the majority of people who say these things, because the majority is always not going to get it. The majority of people in this world, they idiots. Not being disrespectful at all. But the majority of people in this world, they don't get it. They don't get it. They deaf, they dumb, and they goddamn blind. So they're going to say stuff like, oh yeah, Eve ate an apple. Eve ate an apple. It does not say the word apple nowhere in this chapter. The fruit that it's talking about is parabolic. It's a metaphor. It's talking about knowledge, the teachings. So she consumed the wrong knowledge. It's the same thing that's going on in this society today, where these people, they're consuming the wrong knowledge. They being told that it's okay for them to be gay. It's okay for you to think that, minor attracted people, all this weird ass shit. That's all analogous to this. It's the same exact thing. In this world, the majority of these people, they're proverbial Eve. They're Eve to the power structure that is Satan or the serpent. Same shit, same thing. Excuse me. Right. So it's very important for us to put things in proper perspective when it comes to our understanding. The Bible is life. So everything about every human being, we already know about it in the scriptures. The woman, envious people, covetous people, insecurity, so on and so forth. The Bible is life. And the reason why certain people, they're not privy to the understanding as far as the scriptures is because, just like the Most High said, his son said, it's only for the hopeful elect when it comes to the mysteries of the scriptures in terms of why it's written in the way it's written and where you pick it up in a certain way. It is of no private interpretation. It's either you have the understanding or you don't, and it's only the hopeful elect that have the understanding. The elect and the hopeful elect. And even within that, it's still one of those things that you have to put in proper context, because some of us in the circles of who we are when it comes to us being Israel and the Most High blessing us, so on and so forth, there's still some sort of strife, within certain doctrines pertaining to Israel, because you got people that believe that reincarnation is a thing and it's not. So it's still one of those things where, it's a journey. Even in the scriptures, it tells you that we don't know everything that we're supposed to know until, that time comes. And then when we're in the kingdom, hopefully. For the Most High doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open. Open meaning you shall be elucidated. You shall have the understanding. That's what it means when it talks about your eyes being open. And ye shall be as gods, meaning you shall be powers. You shall have power, and you establish right and wrong for yourself. It's the same concept that Aleister Crowley took. Aleister Crowley took the do what thou wilt concept from Genesis chapter 3, from the serpent. Do what thou wilt. You establish right and wrong. God is Satan and Satan is God. So on and so forth. Everything is reversed. Everything is reversed. As above, so below. So you set your standards. You no longer adhere to the standard of the creator. The created is now the creator. Even though that's not accurate, but in terms of, these constructs and concepts. All these people, they loft themselves up as gods. Not really understanding that. You got all these different new philosophies. This is how you know that everything is happening, and it's happening in a spiritual fashion. Like Satan shall come down with great wrath because he knows that he have but a short time. All these different genders, all this weird stuff. It's just we really live in a stranger than fiction type of world. And that's only speaking to the prophetic aspect of the Bible. That's why. All this stuff is happening because it's Bible prophecy. We are living in the fulfillment of prophecy. That's what it is. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye should not surely die. Right? For the Most High doth know in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, right? Wise according to the understanding of the left hand. You have this knowledge and you adhering to it, but that's the left hand knowledge. See, it's important for us to understand the left hand knowledge, but we ain't supposed to be adhering to it, right? That's what even Adam was doing. They adhered to it. They positioned themselves as if this is what was of them. This is their culture. That's how strong the serpent was. To where he beguiled Eve and Eve beguiled Adam. Adam fell for his lady. Therefore, he put her on a pedestal, and that was his fall. His fall was putting his woman on a pedestal. And when the woman saw that it was, no, let's read down. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, meaning they knew what they did was wrong. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of the Lord, power, walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Most High amongst the trees of the garden. They hid themselves, and they tried to blend in with the other people that was in the garden. That's what that's talking about. It's not talking about real trees. It's talking about people. Trees and people are parabolic, because what does a tree do like a person does? He brings forth fruit. That's why in certain other scriptures, you see it talking about the branches and whatnot. There's certain scriptures where it'll analogize a tree to a person, because a tree and a person is almost the same in terms of what comes from us. Like, we produce fruit, we produce things. A tree produces, a person produces. So that's why the tree is analogous to a person. Not every aspect of a tree is obviously not analogous to a person, but in this sense, in this context, it's parabolic for a person. That's what the trees is parabolic for. So they blended in with the other nations that was in the garden. Now, was the serpent of a nation that could have went back to Ham or any sort of Canaanite nation? Who knows? I believe so, because the priesthood that was reinvigorated from the flood came from Ham and the people that came out of Cush. And we know that they go back to the Canaanites, and they're also known as the Cushites, right? So you had the flood that came after the fall of Adam. Adam brought sin into the world from him listening to Eve, and the Most High pretty much had to forsake Adam. So Adam's fall is what caused the flood. Now you had the flood on the earth, and from the flood, it wiped out all aspects of wickedness. But wickedness was reinvigorated when Ham had sex with his own father, adulterated his own father, when his father was drunk. When Noah was drunk, Ham adulterated him, and that's what reinvigorated that vibration of wickedness. If Ham didn't do that, then everything would be cool. But being that they did that, that brought back that vibration of wickedness, and then you had what happened subsequent from that. But I just wanted to touch on this just in regards to the understanding of us living in this Aleister Crowley vibration, going back to Genesis chapter 3, where in this society, the power structure is a serpent and the people are proverbial Eve. And they fall, they're easily misled and beguiled.